Oh, where are you going? Just carry on, mate. Just carry on. Thank you.
TOMSTC.
Hello and welcome to another vlog on the motorcycle, and today it's just going to be a bit of an update really about what's been going on in the toms of the TC towers. There's been a lot going on and it's meant that I just haven't been able to get videos together like I wanted to, but there we go. You're probably all wondering where the competition is at. Well, I'm hoping to do that very soon. I will do that draw very, very soon indeed, and that was for the rider bag 35 litre. But mainly I just want to talk to you about motorbike things actually, mainly because there's some other bits and pieces going on. But so first of all, the Vstrom had a bit of an issue where the left hand front fork leg decided to blow its seal, and I think this was from a little bit of off-roading that I did first bit this year, and I did actually hit a few big holes and bottom out the suspension. Now I was going to do it myself, but I decided that I'd take the fork leg out and give it to a motorcycle mechanics rather than do it myself, and I gave it to GV Bikes and they did it for a really reasonable 87 quid I think it was, which is, you know, great. I mean, considering the parts cost I think about nearly sort of 30-40 quid, that's not bad, is it really? And also I know that it's been done properly and it's not going to leak again, well, unless I destroy it again. So that's been done. It's now fitted back on the bike and it's working well, so that was a bit of a result. I've also got another service due on the Vstrom. Now if you don't follow the channel, I bought the Vstrom a couple of years ago. It was almost new when I bought it, so it did have a warranty. And of course, with Suzuki, what you can actually do is you can sort of renew your warranty a little bit when every time you get it serviced by a Suzuki dealership, and it costs you £4 million to do that. So I've decided not to do that. I've decided that I'm going to service the bike myself. I'm perfectly capable of doing that. I've done it with all my bikes. It's due at the end of June, so I'll be getting that sorted very soon. And I'm thinking about filming doing that as well. It's just an oil change and just checking it over generally. The bike hasn't even done 5,000 miles yet, so I've decided though to take the gamble and not go with the extended warranty. I think the bikes are pretty solid, but we'll see. We'll just have to see. You just take that risk. That's the risk you take, it, didn't you? Lads. Anyway, so that's good. That's happening. I've also finally, I did a video about it, got around to upgrading the headlight on this bike to, this is the M201, just for reference. So LED bulbs, and I must admit, they do look a lot better than the yellow ones, that the original. I haven't had a chance to ride it at night yet, so I haven't seen the actual, if there's going to be any improvement. And also I've got the bike's MOT in July, so that will also tell whether or not that it's a viable solution for the bike. If it passes MOT, great. If it doesn't, I'll just have to change them out. It's not the end of the world. But they do look good. They do look a lot more modern now. And of course, the other thing, which is not related to bikes at all, but I did put a little poll out on my YouTube posts asking people if they would be interested in me doing a little bit of video about getting solar panels fitted to the house, and that's all been done. They look cool. I've been enjoying practically free electricity for the last couple of weeks already. So it's something that I feel like I should put out, I paid for it, it's all been paid for by my good self, well, me and my wife, as an investment on the house overall, and I think it's a pretty good subject to put out there. So I'm going to be doing a video about that getting in. I won't do a like full install video because, to be honest with you, I don't want to. People do things differently, and all I'm going to do is show you before and after, blah blah blah, and like how it works around me and what I've gained from it. And then what I'll probably do next year, after we've had a winter, is show you how it works. But I wanted to just show you how well it's working for me already, which is fantastic. So yeah, I will be doing a video about that. And the other thing is the EJEAS units on the side here. I've got this one on the side of this helmet here. The Phantom X10s. They are really good. Me and the wife have been using them. I just haven't had a chance to do a full video on the bike with my wife because I've never really sort of done a review on something like that, and I want it to be as transparent as possible. And yes, they have been sent to me free of charge to use, but what I want to do is just give a complete and utter proper overview, pros and cons of them. I mean, the big pro of the fact is that they're a lot cheaper than other models, but there are some other positives and different parts and, you know, interesting things that they do that others don't. One of them being is that they use an open source connectivity. So it essentially, if other brands opened up their the mesh system, you'd be able to connect to any brand seamlessly, which is frustrating that they don't. Maybe, I mean, I would even expect it to open up on a different channel. I mean, you can connect these to other devices via Bluetooth, but that's not the same. But if you're interested in these, and they are really good, they sound good, the microphone's good, the buttons are really easy to use. You can get like separate mounts and mount them to different helmets, so you don't have to buy loads for different helmets. And you know, the mounts are pretty good value for money. They're cheap, and I want to say that I would fully recommend them. And again, if you are interested, I do get a little bit of kickback on these. This one here, you can buy them on the link below. Yeah, and great value, so worth looking into. And if you and your mates are looking for a intercom system but don't want to pay silly prices for them, these are good. And the range on them is phenomenal. Like, you can go for miles because they use the 5G system to sort of piggyback off of. So yeah, but I'll explain that more in the other video. But they do work really, really well, and I'm well chuffed with them. So that's a good thing. They are a very good thing. One other thing I want to talk to you about, and a little short I put up across my socials of a lady in a Fiesta pulling out of a junction on me, and I'm on my Vstrom in this video. I'm going to just put this up right now. So on that video, you'll see me coming up to the junction. I'm behind a BMW. I keep to the right so that everybody can see me at the junction. I may be a little bit close to the BMW, but I think the CHIGEE camera makes it look closer than it is. The CHIGEE camera on the Vstrom is mounted a little bit lower. So basically what happens is I come up to the junction, she completely doesn't look right properly. There's a car in front of me blocking the view, maybe a little bit, but she would have seen me towering over the car. It's a massive guy. She doesn't look, she pulls out, and you know, I've got plenty of time, so I completely avoid a road traffic accident. I completely avoid smashing into her. I give her a little toot afterwards, purely because I should have tooted at the time, but I missed the button. And do you know what? That video has gone mental across the socials, well, mental for my channel anyway. Well over 30,000 views on Facebook, which is insane. But the comments are 50-50. You've got people completely supporting me, and then you've got people that just don't really seem to understand the situation at all. Oh, you can't ride a motorbike, blah blah blah. I've been riding 25 years, I know what I'm doing. But it's really interesting to see that I can spend really long time on videos doing this, that and the other, and I put a little video up of a lady pulling out in front of me, giving me a little bit of grief. Not giving me grief, but you know, she's giving me grief because she pulls out in front of me, and that's my grief. Completely oblivious, and it goes mental. It's kind of weird, really. Now, I didn't do it for the view. Well, actually, I did it for the views. Come on, let's face it. Why do we put videos up? Because we want people to look at them. And I knew that a video like that would get a lot of views. But my main point about the video was the fact that I've got the CHIGEE camera on the bike, and you can see how good quality that CHIGEE camera is. It's so good. It works so well. You can see number plates, you can see everything, see what time of day it is, blah blah blah, everything. It's amazing. And that's what I wanted to highlight. Having dash cams on your bike is actually a good thing. Now, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite because I haven't got the interior one, because I just don't want things sticking out. But on a bike like the Vstrom, it works so well. It's such a good thing to have. And I've got the latest dash cam system only coming from CHIGEE for review, and that'll be going on my wife's Triumph Trident 800. So if you haven't seen the channel before, that's she's got a Triumph Trident 800, lovely bike. But we're going to be putting a dash cam on that for her, just to give her a bit of confidence. But honestly, I just found it really strange. The comments, like, some of them are so, like, you wouldn't say half of these things to a person to their face. So why would you say it online? It's just weird. And I'm thick-skinned, it doesn't bother me in the slightest, but it's just crazy things that people say. If you're not going to say anything nice, just don't say anything. Or even if you're going to say something not particularly great or for it, explain it. Why are you being like that? Why are you saying that? And there's a few people that have said stuff, and then they've, you know, kind of said why they said it. Fair enough, that's fine, that's for your view, I don't really care. But just to be, oh, you know, you shouldn't ride a bike, you don't know how to ride. I do, because if I didn't know how to ride, I would have smashed into her, because I wouldn't have been concentrating, I wouldn't have been anticipating it. But there we go. It is a bizarre, but there we go. I mean, it's kind of made me not want to put more videos up like that. I might do, we'll see. But honestly, get yourself a dash cam, because if that was a worse situation, it would have all been documented, and I would have been completely covered and gone, here you go, insurance company, this is what happened, here you go, police, this is what happened, rather than my view against their view. So honestly, if you're sitting on the fence about dash cams, go and get a dash cam for your bike. There's so many options out there. I am going to be reviewing the new one from CHIGEE. Why are you letting them out on a main road? That's not great. Never mind. But yeah, there's loads of options, but I think the CHIGEE one's going to be really good. They're only 1080p, but they do have much better processors in them, so the image quality is much better than the 4K ones that you get advertised that aren't really 4K. So they might be 4K capable cameras, but the processor on the unit can't process the image, so it looks crap. So yeah, honestly, can't talk about that enough, really. But there we go. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful today. There's a little bit of cloud in the sky, but it's so nice and warm. It's a bit windy, but it's perfect bike conditions. We had some really hot weather a few weeks back, and it was just quite honestly a little bit unbearable on the bike, especially when you got your gear on. And since then, we're now well into June, but since then it's just been rubbish. The weather has rained constantly through June. Right, actually, another little thing I'm going to talk about is, and everybody's talking about it lately, AI thumbnails on YouTube. Why are people doing it? Now, I've experimented with it and I very quickly realised that they look a bit crap. It's all very well using AI as a tool to sort of build your thumbnail, but using it just to make your thumbnail. Now, has nobody noticed that their thumbnails just look exactly the same as everyone else's? And I've actually missed videos because they're losing their identity. They're losing their identity on the thumbnail, and I don't recognise who they are. I don't necessarily look at the YouTuber's name. I look at the style of their YouTube and you know straight away it's them then. So yeah, guys, stop doing it. It removes creativity. Check out Artists on a Bike. He's got a really good video about what's happening to art at the moment, and even if you do if you're crap at making a thumbnail, it doesn't matter, because that's your style, that's what makes you recognisable. So when you start using AI to completely make your thumbnail from scratch, nah, you don't recognise it. Stop doing it. Get better at making your own ones. There's so many tools out there to do it. Learn. Love this bit of road. Unfortunately, it's full of traffic. And on that note, I'm going to say see you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, look at the links below, let me know what you think, make a comment, blah blah blah, and I'll see you next time on TOMSTC. Bye.